I have a complicated history with the Transformers franchise. As a kid, I might have owned a Transformer 200. Then the Michael Bay movies killed my love for the franchise. The Bumblebee movie rekindled my love for the Transformers and made me want to play this game. With the franchise in its 40th anniversary, there's no better time than now to review Transformers Devastation. Put up your fists and get ready to bust some Deceptichops. Transformers Devastation was made by the legendary Platinum Games. They made several licensed titles published by Activision for a brief time. Platinum is known for its stylish action games. That's just a fancy way of saying 3D beat-em-ups. It was a dream matchup for me. The story is about the Autobots and Decepticons fighting over a Cybertronian ship that crashed on Earth many years ago. That ship contains technology that could be used to cyberform planets. Megatron wants to use it to cyberform Earth, while Optimus Prime and the Autobots are trying to stop him. You can play as Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Wheeljack, and Grimlock. The latter two are unlocked as you progress. Every character has their own stats, allowing them to stand out from each other. The combat is the core gameplay with other mechanics built around to complement it. This includes exploration, little side challenges, customization through crafting and equipment, and of course, vehicle segments. The game encourages you to explore and find hidden weapons, items, and credits. You use credits at the base to craft, upgrade, and customize the weapons so you can be stronger in battle. The combat is sublime. It uses a simple combo system that encourages you to build up momentum by stringing together more moves. It also makes good use of the Transformers' ability to, well, transform. The feeling of your character revving their engine and then launching at breakneck speed into an enemy is exhilarating and fun. You ever rolled into multiple enemies in Donkey Kong Country and each enemy you rolled into made him go faster and faster? This game's combat captures that feeling and then some. It's not mindless button mashing either, since the game has a risk and reward system built into the combat where if you successfully avoid an attack, it slows down time for a few seconds, allowing you to get in more hits. You can also learn to parry, knock enemies back, or catch missiles, just to name a few. You gotta know how to defend as well as attack. You also have guns that you can integrate into your combos. The game can even be played as a mini third-person shooter. It's as fun to watch as it is to play, for the most part. While the combat is amazing, the exploration and side missions are average at best, and at worst, it hurts the pacing of the game. You'll be running around without much happening while trying to find your way to the next battle or doing some uninteresting side missions such as stomping hidden targets, shooting pods, or racing through barriers, just to name a few. There is a good variety of side tasks, but only a few are exciting. You'll be wishing for more enemies to fight as you wander around. The pacing does improve immensely after Chapter 3, even if it's not perfect. While they're not exciting, these side missions are worth doing since you can earn more weapons and credits to upgrade them. The repetitive backgrounds also make the exploration uninteresting. At least the game runs at a silky smooth 60 frames per second. Most of the effort is rightly spent on the character models and animation. I would say the characters look like they jumped off the screen, but there's always something about cell shading that doesn't look quite right to me. It looks too clean and shiny compared to traditional cell animation. That's not to say it looks bad, because the characters look fantastic. To me, modern cel-shaded graphics still look off and isn't a problem specific to this game. But I digress. What is specific to this game is the overdone flashy effects. Sometimes it's easy to lose track of your character when there are lasers, particles, and debris flying around with tons of characters on screen. Luckily, the on-screen chaos doesn't happen too often, but when you pair that with some camera problems, you would be in for a bad time. There is one battle that annoys the hell out of me. You're fighting Insecticons while walls erupt out of the ground, disrupting the fight and causing havoc to the camera. Also, to the camera's credit, when it works well. It has a soft lock-on when you engage an enemy. The camera rotates to a side view to give you a clear view of the action. Switching between targets is no problem. As a seasoned Sekiro player, the lock-on camera in Souls-like games makes facing multiple enemies a pain, while the more free-flowing camera in Transformers Devastation makes facing multiple enemies less of a chore. It has its pros and cons. You know what has no cons? The sound. First of all, they managed to get quite a few of the original voice actors from the cartoon to reprise their roles, and they all do a fantastic job along with the new voice cast. For the soundtrack, instead of licensing the original music or composing a soundtrack that harkens back to the original cartoon, it has a fresh new soundtrack with tons of amazing tunes. Every track gets you pumped and ready to fight. The excellent soundtrack plays an important role in making the combat so fun and satisfying. When you see the very first Decepticon grunt come racing in and transform in midair accompanied by that badass music, it hypes you up. This could have easily been boss music for any other game, but no, these are just goons. The lack of music is also why the segments outside of combat are dull. There's no getting around it, but this game was not given the time or budget for all the polish it needed. The enemy variety is low, but it makes up for it with tons of bosses from the Decepticon roster. A first playthrough should last you 6 to 8 hours depending on your skill level. If you love combat, you'll get good replay value out of it, because what I described only scratched the surface of the combat. The game has hidden collectibles to find and challenge missions to unlock. The DLC comes with a battle against Nova Prime, new weapons, and new skins where you can change Sideswipe, Prime, and Bumblebee's colors into a different character. Should you play this game? The package as a whole is good, but could have been excellent. Going from, hell yeah, this is amazing, to, it's okay, can be pretty jarring. It's not bad by any means, but it is uneven. For the average folks, I think this game is at least worth a try. If you're a beat-em-up enthusiast, you'll enjoy it. If you're the type that knows the difference between a core class and a commander class, the type who pulls out the scale chart to argue whether MPG-09 is more accurate height-wise compared to KFC Raijin, the type who is disappointed that Megatron is a tank and not Starscream and Soundwave's target master, then this game is for you. However, there is one more elephant in the room. This game has been out of print for years. You can't even buy it digitally on Steam. The console versions had a physical release, but the aftermarket prices can range from $20 to over $100 depending on the console. I'd say somewhere between $30 to $40 is still decent for this game, but ultimately, it's your money. For the PC version, you might want to quit the Spanish Navy. It's hard to say whether this game will get a remaster or re-release since the licensing has gotten even more convoluted now that Activision is owned by Microsoft. Who knows, GoldenEye got a re-release and Hasbro just recently announced Transformers Devastation toys. They haven't forgotten about this game. With Transformer 1's disappointing box office and lower toy sales, Hasbro probably doesn't want to break the bank on a new game. Maybe they can take some cues from Shredder's Revenge and Power Rangers and give me a 2D beat-em-up. Let me dream. Until next time, this is the illiterate scholar telling you to say no to Volcanicus. If someone says Volcanicus, you just say no.